Hello, welcome to part 3 of financial discipline. This is really long. Yeah, but it's good to expatiate on these principles so that people understand what we're talking about. But like I said in the first video, part 1 is enough for you to just follow the steps, But if you want to know more, then you can continue with the different parts. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'll try to, speed this up. So number 3 is control your spending within what is left. So after you have set aside your savings for your future self, then try to control your saving. Try to control what is left for you to spend. And this just means living within your means. Living within your means. Trying to manage your expenses, and the best way to do that, at least what has worked for me, is to document your expenses. So get an Excel spreadsheet or Word document or whatever it is that you use, but Excel works for me, right? Or even a piece of paper for those who would not want to bug themselves with a computer. And just write out your expenses. Start with your needs. What are those compulsory payments that you must make? Those bills that you cannot run away from. You must pay your school fees. You must buy food for the home. You must buy water. You must pay your light bills. You must whatever it is. You can't run away from those payments. Those are not wants, those are needs. Start with the needs. Document all your needs and make sure, of course, that what is left is able to fund your needs. And then you start to fund your needs. Pay all your bills first. Pay all your bills first. By the time you categorize them into needs and wants, you begin to see that some of these wants you don't have to do. Going out to hang out is a want, it's not a need. Look, even as much as doing your hair is not a need, is a want. Because I've seen people, because they cannot maintain their hair, whether it's based on the amount or based on the time, they've cut their hair and they're on low cut, spending nothing or little, money to maintain their hair. So you must begin to understand the difference between need and want. It's very important. It's very, very important. It's not wrong to have wants. So when we finish this classification, you now know that it is only the extra that you have that can be used to fund a want. But you must meet your needs first. And the reason why you need to do the categorization, or definition of whether this is a need or a want, is especially when you've set aside a certain percentage of your income, and then you realize you barely have enough to go through the month. You begin to cut down on your expenses, and that's why you need that categorization. What is a need? Do I really need this thing? And then before you know, you begin to prune down your expenses. You begin to reduce it. Yeah? You begin to find out that many things we spend on are really not necessary. And when you get to that point in your life, it's like freedom. Trust me. It's like you just been released from prison. So that for me is a very important step. You got to do that for yourself. And number 4 is don't borrow. Never, ever, ever borrow to fund a want. Never. Also said, don't borrow to fund a need. However, there's a caveat with that, because sometimes you might find yourself in an emergency situation, medical, whatever it is. It's emergency, life and death. You don't have a choice but to borrow. So yeah, go ahead. But those are just exceptional cases, When it comes to a need, it's better to ask family and friends, to fund a need so that you don't find yourself even more financially indebted to people, and you're digging a deeper hole for yourself just because a need came up. If you plan better, if you plan well, you should be able to cover your needs, except, like I said, emergency situations. Nobody plans for emergencies. But then if you have been, of course, this is for people who are just starting out, and emergencies can just come and overwhelm you. But for people who have been in this journey that I'm describing, if you have been setting aside, then your savings should be able to cover your emergencies. And one of the ways to manage payments when you've been able to categorize your expenses, you begin to be smarter about how you spend. You begin to defer payments. You begin to say, can I buy this thing next month? Can I negotiate with the seller to split the payment? Oh, trust me, rich people, as rich as they are, they are very smart about how they make payments and how much leaves their account every month. You see that they plan to make sure that their spending is trending in a certain way. Even companies do it. Okay, can we defer this payment? Can we pay a percentage of it every month? They begin to go into payment plans. I'm the queen of payment plans. I don't care how much I'm in my account, but if I see that the money for this thing I'm going to buy is huge, I'll just be like, okay, can I pay you some this month and some next month? And because money is not easy to come by, and people are interested in selling, most of the time you get an affirmative. Most of the time. So you begin to be smarter about your output. You just have to be smart about these things. You don't have a choice. And it's only when you've documented it, you see it is staring you into the face, you begin to, ponder, begin to think about it. And before you know it, and then it's only those things that you think about, you focus on, and you not worry, but, run through your head every time that solutions come to you. If you're not even thinking about those things, how are you going to get solutions? I realize that when I pick up a challenge, and I put it in my head and I start to dissect it, sooner or later a solution, like a eureka moment, just comes. But if you're not even looking at that thing and saying, okay, how do I break it down to, how do I work this out? How, just put it in your mind. And sometimes we Christians will say the Holy Spirit helps you, and then before you know it, you have a solution. But if you're not even looking at it, how is the solution going to come? It's focus that will bring, those eureka moments. So you need to focus on some things and, give them some kind of thought process, and then a solution will come. Yeah. So that documentation really helps. Which will make you be smarter about what you spend every month. Number 4, okay, yeah. I think I was just talking about number 3, documentation. Number 4 is what I have said. Don't borrow to fund a want. Not even a need, except emergency situations. Only borrow to fund investments. So I'll read number 4 again. Don't borrow to fund a want, not even a need. Only borrow to fund investment. Even at that, there is a way or a level to borrow to optimize leverage. Like I said in the other video, there is a level of leverage that is recommended to boost your ROI or ROE, right? So especially in the Western world where the interest rates are very low, right? You can take advantage of loans, to boost your returns. If you don't borrow, that's okay. But the people, like, all I'm just saying is the people who know the benefits of leverage, can borrow. the point here is just don't go about borrowing just to travel to America, or don't go about borrowing just to buy a car. Don't borrow just to look fly or slay, right? You really have to avoid borrowing if you want to have financial discipline. Otherwise, guess what? That borrowing will accumulate interest that you have to pay every month from your income that you're supposed to be setting aside for your future self, right? So that's the message for number 4. And number 5 is saying create routines, right? Refine your everyday practices, keep your mind occupied, be doing something that will ensure that you do not go and spend money on wants. That's really the message, right? Whether it's learning something new, workout, you want to be a life coach, learn about sewing, or designing for someone, or being a personal styler or personal shopper, learn how to do hair, so that your free time you can make money from it, odd jobs here and there, investing your free time into learning valuable things, creating some kind of routine. If you work, you go to work in the morning, you wake up at a certain time, if you work out, if you have time to work out, that's fine. You go to work, come back, you check on the kids if you have kids, do homework, check on domestic matters. Are you going to work out after that? Are you going to go on the web to learn, to continue the course that you started? Are you going to pick up the Bible and read? Are you going to pick up a book that you started, to continue? Just some kind of routine. Are you going to watch TV to catch up on the news? Just create a routine for yourself such that you know that, okay, there are essential things in the day that I want to cover. And then create that timetable that will guide you to cover those things. Otherwise, before you know it, that's what I realized, and that's what I try to avoid. A call comes in or a WhatsApp message comes in. Before you know, you're derailed. Before you know, your friend is saying, hey, how far? We're on a day. What have you done? Before you know it, you're like, hey, I'm heading out. Something that you did not plan for. Even if they are the ones paying, those necessities that you have on your timetable, you've left them undone. And before you know, you're playing catch up. So having a routine is very important. If by the time you're done with the, with going through the routines, the things that you've set out, and you have some free time, well, that's okay. It's just like categorizing your expenses into needs and wants. So you are finished with the needs and now you have spare time to do wants. Hey, fantastic. But make sure that you have satisfied all the needs, that you have satisfied all the things that you have put down on paper, that you have to do for the day. That's the important thing, right? And you see, it's as easy as it may sound, it's not easy. It takes a lot of mental discipline to achieve these things. In fact, if you're not mentally disciplined, you cannot achieve financial discipline. That's a fact. You can't. There's no gainsaying. So a lot of the things that we preach about start here. You have to, there are so many things that we want to do, but if we have not dealt with our mental health, our mental capacities, then it's just wishful thinking for some of us. So whatever we do, we have to make sure that we're all right up here, right? And I have some videos, in the long past, that I've talked about developing your mental discipline, your mental health, and we'll revisit them as we progress. But it's very, very important that you are very healthy up here so that you can make key decisions, so that you can say no to certain things. So that a friend calls up and you say, hey man, I got homework to do, or I got some studying to do. Oh, this is my workout time. I'm sorry I can't take your call. Or you just blank their call until you're done working out, and then you chat them up and say, oh, I missed your call, I was working out. When they see that the first time, they see that second. For me, workout starts at a certain time. I'm sorry, except it's my madam in the office or some emergency at home, nothing is taking me from that workout. I will reach you after I'm done. I will chat you up after I'm done. I'm sorry. It's just I've put workout ahead of so many things. And if you don't like it, well, sorry. It's my life. It's not yours. That's how I've decided to do it. So my conversations can wait until after my workout. All right? Yeah, so it's just letting us know that it's very, very important to plan our life, right? And it also affects your financial health. All right, we'll continue in another video. Thank you.